14 hours. The underbrush cracked and snapped beneath their boots, the air thick with the sharp scent of scorched bark and churned earth. Kane led with brisk confidence, boots barely crunching twigs, eyes scanning ahead like she could see through trees. She hadn't raised her voice once, hadn't needed to. Her words landed like orders built into your spine. Alice wouldn't call it comforting. It was almost hypnotic. Listening to Kane felt like a reflex. You didn't choose to follow. You just did. Somewhere behind, Turgan grunted. A sound as deep and rough as the man himself, all stone and silence in motion. Kel, thankfully, had taken it upon himself to fill the silence. And he was good at it. His voice had an easy warmth, like a hand offered without pressure. He was taller than Kane, broader than Silas, but somehow softer. Or maybe just less likely that he'd snap if you asked the wrong question. Alice focused on keeping her footing. Every few steps, she felt a steady pressure at her arm. Silas, his hand guiding her with wordless efficiency. Not controlling. Just there. Just enough. He hadn't said more than 3 words since they set off, but his presence pressed close. He moved like someone who expected trouble with every step. Taller than she'd thought, lean under the gear. His voice, when he had spoken, rasped like it had been scraped against stone too many times.
I'm telling you,
Kel was saying up ahead.
When that last blast hit, I swear the ridge behind us shifted like a whole 3 degrees. You know what that means, right? Topsoil displacement, slope instability. I watched a seminar on it. Real riveting stuff. Lots of graphs.
You voluntarily watched a slope seminar.
Riven muttered. Alice blinked. A wave of exhaustion slammed into her so fast it felt like her bones had turned to sand. Every step felt like she was dragging cinder blocks behind her, but she clenched her jaw and kept going. Because stopping wasn't an option.
Hey, I'm a man of culture.
Kel shot back.
Turgan can vouch.
Nope.
Turgan said.
Anyway, I'm just saying, this terrain's not exactly textbook safe. But you know what is. Preventative bracing protocols. You ever heard of those, Ellis?
She stumbled. Partly from the fatigue, partly from being caught off guard. Riven's hand clamped tighter around her arm.
Hey, you okay?
He asked. She just nodded. Kel carried on, undeterred.
They strap flexible carbon lattice to the slope. Real high-end engineering. Stops landslides before they even start. Unless you're on a budget, in which case, good luck and enjoy the ride.
Riven was about to tell Kel to shut it gently. Keyword gently when he paused. He frowned and turned his head slightly. He slowed, boots pressing into the uneven dirt, and frowned. He couldn't hear anything unusual. Not really, but there was something off. A low thrum in his bones, maybe. A wrongness he couldn't explain. The kind that made seasoned soldiers pause, even when their eyes told them everything was fine. He glanced around, one hand instinctively resting on his rifle strap.
Anyone hear that?
He asked under his breath. Kel was still talking. Turgan grunted noncommittally, but Riven kept scanning the trees, uneasy. Too quiet. He didn't like it. Alice froze. Turgan looked up. Kel kept walking another 2 steps before realizing no one was beside him.
What?
He blinked.
What is it?
Then they all heard it. A low groan deep in the earth. A rumble, like something massive shifting in its sleep.
Backtrack, now.
Kane barked, already pivoting. But the earth had other plans. The hillside shuddered violently. Alice gasped and the ground crumbled like stale bread beneath her boots. She pitched forward with a scream, and Riven lunged without thinking, grabbing her arm just as the dirt gave way beneath him too.
Silas!
Kel shouted, but the name was ripped away by the roar of shifting earth and cracking trees. And then they were gone. A tangle of branches, rock, and soil dragged them down the slope. Riven took the brunt of it on his back, curling around Alice to shield her from the worst. The world spun, the air filled with dust, and then silence. Riven groaned. Alice coughed against his shoulder. He spat dirt from his mouth.
You alive?
He rasped. She didn't answer, just whimpered, and she started crying again. Not the polite, single tear sort of crying either. This was the kind of raw, ragged sobbing that clawed its way out of her chest. Loud and wet and unfiltered.
Hey.
Riven's voice was hoarse but urgent. He pushed himself up, one hand bracing his ribs.
You gotta keep it down.
His eyes swept the tree line.
We don't know who else is out there.
She gasped through the tears, hands trembling as she tried to wipe her face, only smearing streaks of dirt across her skin. He reached out, not quite touching her, but close.
You're okay. Just breathe. We're not dead. That's a win. Yeah.
He drew a steadying breath. Everything hurt, but nothing sharp. Bruised, probably cracked, but he'd live. His ears still rang from the collapse. Alice sniffled.
Are you okay?
She asked.
I'm fine. But you need to stay quiet. Deal?
She nodded. Riven squinted up the slope, craning his neck. No sign of Cal, no sign of Turgan. Nothing but trees, cracked open like splintered bones. They were alone. He flicked up his visor.
You hurt.
She nodded again, fresh tears already welling.
I can't. I was just going to camp.
She hiccuped, voice hitching into another wave of panic.
I was just brushing my teeth.
He checked her wrist. No break.
And now I'm...
She broke off into another sob, quieter this time. Messier. Other arm, bruised, but nothing serious. She flinched as he gently pressed along her ribs.
That guy said this was a safe place. Xander said.
He worked his way to her leg. Her ankle was already swelling, the skin blotched purple and red. She shrieked as soon as he touched it, jerking away. Riven winced.
Shh.
Alice clamped her mouth shut, breathing hard, sweat dotting her forehead.
Sprained.
He muttered.
Possibly torn.
Her face scrunched.
I can't walk.
Not on that.
He stood up, tapped the Cums unit in his ear.
Silas to Turgan, Kel Kane. Do you read?
Static, a long hiss. No reply. He tried again, toggling frequencies. Still nothing.
Perfect.
Riven shut off the comm and turned to her.
We're on our own.
She blinked at him, pale.
Wait, what do you mean on our own?
I mean,
He said, crouching again.
until we make it back uphill or someone finds us. It's just you and me.
He took off his rucksack and rummaged until he found the last roll of bandages.
Let's do a quick mummy wrap and we can get out of here.
Alice eyed him skeptically.
Do you even know what you're doing?
The question left her mouth before she even realized she was speaking. Just moments ago, she'd been wailing, absolutely unraveling, and now here she was, challenging a soldier about first aid like this was a group project gone sideways.
There's a method.
He said, unrolling the gauze.
I passed the wound dressing class.
There's a difference
She cut in, raising a brow.
between dabbing antiseptic on surface wounds and properly stabilizing a joint. One is cleaning cuts. The other's structural support.
Riven stared at her for a beat. A long, slow inhale through the nose like he was trying to summon divine patience from the mossy void. Honestly, he was a little thrown. She'd been sobbing into her hands not 2 minutes ago, and now she was questioning his bracing technique like she was back in class. He decided he preferred this version. If she had enough spine to mock him, she probably wasn't going to shatter. Not yet, anyway,
Why don't you let me do it?
he said flatly.
And you can grade me later?
She smirked, but didn't argue. Just adjusted her leg with a wince, giving him access. He crouched and started wrapping the gauze, hands steadier than he felt. Alice watched him in silence for a beat, then begrudgingly.
Not bad.
He didn't look up.
You're my 69th patient, after all.
He stopped.
Oh, it's a nice round number.
He added quickly.
What the hell was that? What? Not round, but statistically pleasing?
He looked up at the sky, wishing a bomb would just drop on him. Right now. Alice blinked at him, eyebrows pinched together. Not offended, just confused. He bit the inside of his cheek.
Okay, she didn't get it. Thank the makers.
That was not the moment for dirty jokes. What the hell was wrong with him? He was just trying to distract her, keep the pain from setting in too hard, and instead, he went full hormonal pidette on autopilot. Must have knocked something loose in that landslide. Adrenaline surging, brain firing blanks. And of course, this was the moment his lizard brain decided to notice she was attractive. Really attractive, even with the dirt, and snot and tears. Dang it. He tried not to look at her eyes, couldn't make out the color in the dark anyway. Probably for the best. Eye contact was a slippery slope, and he was already halfway to stupid.
Snap out of it, Silas. You're bleeding, and she's limping, and you're both covered in muck. Hold still.
He muttered, mostly to himself. Riven secured the last knot moments later.
Too tight.
No, she mumbled.
Good.
He tightened his rucksack straps and slid it onto his chest.
Let's get out of here.
She stared at him like he'd suggested foot surgery on the forest floor.
You expect me to walk?
Riven let out a snort.
Yeah, like I expect anything from a civilian.
He shook his head and pointed to his back.
Get up here.
What no? That's...
Princess, we're in the middle of a bombed forest with unstable terrain and no signal. I can't afford to get into a fight over your delicate sensibilities. So, get the F on.
She hesitated.
Or I can haul you over my shoulder. You pick.
Muttering under her breath, Alice climbed on, awkwardly, huffing a little through the remaining tears.
This is so humiliating.
She grumbled, arms tight around his shoulders. Riven re-engaged his visor and pushed up to his feet with a grunt.
Yeah, well, welcome to field rescue.
Pain flared under his ribs, sharp and immediate. He clenched his jaw, refusing to let it show. But she was light, and he'd carried worse with more bleeding. He could handle it. He moved carefully, scanning the uneven ground ahead, one foot testing each patch of earth before he shifted his weight.